Reese made some comments to the media that spread like wildfires. We're going to play a game of fair or foul. Was what she said fair, or was what she said, foul, completely out of bounds here? Now, there's several little pieces of what Angel Reese had to say, several chapters, I think, to this story that we can break it up into. First and foremost, she, had some things to say about her team, the coaching staff, after being eliminated from playoff contention last week. And then she kind of wanted to retract some of those statements. She said that some of them were taken out of context. The initial statements from Angel that we saw, in that press conference where she's basically, saying that the team needs to get better around her, that the coaching staff needs to be better, the coaching staff needs to push them more, the team needs to be better. Initial comments from Angel. Cass, will start with you. Fair or foul?
This is not like a straight answer. I think there's two kind of aspects of this. Do I think what she said in terms of the front office and finding ways to bring free agents in and bringing in good free agents and splashy ones like all of these other teams have done, do I think that is valid? Fair. Yes, absolutely. But this interview, which was done with the Chicago Tribune with 2 weeks left in the season, did feel like a lesson in fine that you said it, very wrong time to do it. If you're going to talk about your teammates in that way. I know sports is a different beast, but these are your coworkers and you have to work with them for a little bit longer. And so kind of driving home this thing of like, we need to improve at every position. Like me and Camila Cardoso are the only ones coming back. If you just think about it in terms of like, if you go on social media and say that about your teammates at work, like, I don't think they're going to be super happy about it. And now you've created this very like awkward situation in your workplace. So I think it was foul to have that conversation now. It's an exit interview conversation is what it is when your season is done and your roster is fluctuating.
Okay. Cass hit on timing. I agree. I agree with timing that some of these comments shouldn't have been made, right? We can't rely on Courtney Vandersloot to come back at the age she's at. I know she'll be a great asset for us. Like, that's timing. That is timing. 100%. You say that later if that's actually how you feel and how you believe. I agree, exit meeting. Here's what I will say, though. As a hooper, as a player that has played to win games, telling a Chicago Tribune, the local media, that I'm not settling for the same shit we did this year, that we have to get good players, we have to get great players, that's a non-negotiable for me. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If my team, and I've never been on a team that has been 10 and 30, I've never been on a team that's been below 500. But that's just me. Maybe I'm right. I'll
let him know.
Let him know. But I would be pissed. I would be pissed if I got on the court and my team is 10 and 30. And you're looking at me and I can't say we're supposed to be better. What else would I want? What are we here for? If we're not here to get good or great players and for things to be different next year. It's interesting because in reading this, she said that's a non-negotiable for me. I'm willing and I want to be playing for the best. And however, I can't help to get the best out there. That's what I'm going to do this offseason. I also thought there were some comments that she made that let us know that she is willing to work with the franchise for it to be better in the future. Like, it didn't scream to me, I'm leaving Chicago, forget this. It screamed to me, I actually want to be here and I want us to be better. And this is what needs to happen. And then, yes, her timing with her comments wasn't great. I think too, and I'll say this as an analyst. As an analyst, if I had said, hey guys, Chicago can't rely on Courtney Vandersloot next year at the age she's at, coming back from an ACL tear, to be their main point guard to get them to a championship, nobody would tell me I'm wrong.
That's fair.
You would be like, Ice, you know what? You're an analyst. How many 37-year-old point guards are going to be out there coming off an ACL tear that can lead their team to championships? How many times have we seen that? You wouldn't say I'm wrong. We think she's wrong because obviously it's her teammate, right? And the timing of which she said it. And 100%, you got to go back and practice the next day and people need to look at you and you should feel like it's a comfortable space. And instead, they feel like you don't care about any of them. So I understand that. But in what she said is not wrong. It is harsh for sure. It's not something that you want a teammate to say in real time. But again, from my analyst perspective, that is a fair statement to make. Obviously, I'm not on the team, so I don't have to deal with teammates. And I think, too, this is also where the growth happens for young athletes, right? To understand, hey, this is Angel Reese. This is Angel Reese who was pointing like this, winning national championships 2 years ago. Angel's not used to being 10-30. We got to give our young players a little bit of grace in that you are going through, probably for the first time ever in your career, losing game after game after game after game in terrible ways. If you watch Chicago, you know it has not been pretty. So I also feel like I want to give her a little bit of grace in that you're young, you made a mistake. You spoke a little too freely at the right time. I think what Cass said is perfect. I think the timing of these comments aren't okay. But to me, these comments come from a player that cares about where they are, that wants to win, and voice that. I also will say, what does it say about the Chicago franchise that you suspend a player for half a game for making honest comments about their team? Because if I'm a player in the W right now, Caroline, I don't want to go to Chicago. I can't say anything. There's no freedom there.
If it wasn't Angel Reese that said that, let's just say it's, your average player that doesn't get nearly as much media attention as Angel Reese. If those comments weren't the number one topic of conversation on every sports show in America, would that player have gotten suspended? Like, I understand not everything has to be black and white. Not everything has to set precedent, but it doesn't necessarily sit right with me that, like, if it was anybody else that said that, if it wasn't as viral of a moment as it was, would that still be considered comments detrimental to the team or whatever that they classify?
Like, if it wasn't that, 100%, I think that's a fair statement to make. If it was a veteran that has been in the league for 10 plus years, made those comments, we probably would have looked at it differently. Like, they're taking accountability, they're taking ownership. But because Angel's been here for 2 hot seconds, we're now like, hey, 2-time All-Star. You can't make those comments like that. You can't talk about your team like that. But to me, I think Chicago was wrong in her suspension. Were the comments okay? No. But you're also a professional athlete. Like, you have to be able to address and say, hey, we need to be better. We need better things done. Again, your team is 10-30. You can't get on. You're going to get in the interview and say, I'm happy with the players we have, and we just need to run our plays better. That's not the answer. So I also am just curious what Chicago is trying to get across. I don't know how you get other players in the future with limiting how other people can talk currently.
I have a point to be made about this, but I need to go all the way back, Ice. Even in middle school, you were not under 500?
Yo, Cass, we hope out here. I promise you.
You were never under 500.
I promise you. Maybe in T-ball, the sport I really didn't care about and I wasn't good in. But I swear, basketball seasons, I won championships in high school. Like, AAU, we were good. Like, I haven't experienced being below 500. Maybe my own personal games, but I haven't experienced being below 500.
I was like, do not send me to Chicago. I'm good on that. I'm good. Don't call me, Angel, because I'm not coming.
What? Suspended half a game, bro. I'd be banned.
You'd sit out her rookie contract, sign somewhere else.
All of Ice's mics are just unplugged. She does not get post-game availability. She lost those privileges.
She needs media training.
I do want to make the point about all of this. I think part of it is that Angel is a young player, second-year player versus veteran. But also what stood out to me the most in reading the article as soon as it came out, we do not see this in the W. Like, the W is very much, we are a collective. They are super protective of their locker room and of chemistry and of what is said between them. They have gotten very good at, media speak, if you will, and answering a question without really answering a question. And so for Angel to kind of step out of that circle, I think is very much just an absurd rarity in the W that doesn't necessarily apply to other leagues where players are often more, I don't even want to just say outspoken, but they are not, the W is 144. The NFL is not, the 700.
Yep.
They are individuals. Yeah. And it was just very rare to see.
Yeah, I think, if Luka Doncic said this about Kyrie Irving, hey, we're just waiting for him to come back from ACL, but we can't rely on him, blah, 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 blah. He's not getting fined. He's not getting suspended half a game. That looked like high school to me. was like, you know, the last time somebody was suspended half a game? High school.
You want to tell that story, Ice, or no? On your over 500 team.
Cass is never going to let me forget that.
I do think, though, like, I love that we are now getting this, and I love that Angel and other players, it does feel more empowered to speak their minds, whether it's about this situation with Angel or, you know, demanding more in the CBA. Like, there is more empowerment in this league than there ever has been, and that's good because that comes with growth. I also think that there are certain lines that might be really, really thin, but when you cross it one way or another, it can come out, you know, it's a massive difference. Like, I think that Angel coming out and saying, I can't stand for this shit anymore, good. You shouldn't. There's not a single competitor in professional sports that should be okay with losing the way that Chicago has lost. Like, I don't have any problem with Angel Reese calling out her team. I don't have any problem with a football player, a men's basketball player, a hockey player, whoever. Insert sport here. I don't have any problem with a star or not, any player whatsoever being angry with losing. I do feel, though, because I agree with the time, like, you cannot see these comments in the middle of the season. Like, you can't, like, it's so awkward, it's so uncomfortable. I also think that calling out for better players, that's a behind the scenes conversation. If Angel Reese wanted to say, we need to be better, I don't think there would have been any problem with that. But for her saying, we need to get better players, that feels like she's pointing fingers. That feels like there's now, you know, potentially a divide in the locker room. And Angel Reese is a star. She's a celebrity. Whatever she says, whether she likes it or not, whether we like it or not, like, it becomes headlines. She has to understand that just a slight change in words or verbiage can make a massive difference. So I think that if she was just a little bit more careful with what she said, we need to be better versus we need to get better players, different messaging all the way around.
Yeah, just take a little, put yourself in that, you know, a little accountability. Even if she started with, I need to be better, but we also need better players. Hey, because what professional athlete wouldn't say that, you know, about their team? And I think in knowing Angel and knowing how much she's grown her game this year and trying to get better, I think that it came from that place of, I am going to get better, but I also want better around me. But you're right. That's exactly what she needed to say for it to sound more as the collective and less of like, I'm good, but they're not. And they need, you know, we need better over there. So I agree with you. I think I'll make great points.
And then hop on the phone, send out some texts, recruit the players you want. Hey, we got this going on. Like, come play with me. And then when they're all signed, you go out and you say, oh yeah, I wanted to play with these players and we need to get better at these positions. And like, this is what, you know, we did to improve our team.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree. It's no secret that the Chicago franchise hasn't been good the last few years. So I totally believe it's on the players to recruit other players because the franchise in itself just has not been great. And hopefully that will improve. But I'm going to say it. The half game suspension did not help. To me, that was not a positive coming from the franchise. That to me, to other players looks like, I can't speak my mind here.
And then she didn't play in the second half against Vegas either. Back problems. I'll take your word for it.
My back hurts too.
Yeah.